Tour the cruise ports, Mexican Riviera, Part 2. Puerto Vallarta, Ixtapa and Zihuatanejo, Acapulco, Mazatlán, and Hualtulco.
Mexican Riviera, Table of Contents. Part 2, Puerto Vallarta, Ixtapa and Zihuatanejo, Acapulco, Mazatlán, and Hualtulco.
Dr. Sydney Soclof. drsydney22@gmail.com. 2023. Narration by Dr. Sydney Soclof,
Zoe Phonemes,
and Nathan Koltov. For a complete discussion of YouTube navigation, please go to tiny.1/ytnavigator.
Puerto Vallarta.
Puerto Vallarta is a city along the Pacific Ocean in the Mexican state of Jalisco.
Here is the Mexican state of Jalisco.
The main city and capital of the province of Jalisco is Guadalajara.
This is the Mexican state of Jalisco. Although the main part of Puerto Vallarta is in Jalisco, some of the newer parts are in the neighboring state of Nayarit.
Puerto Vallarta is about 100 miles west of Guadalajara. Vallarta, shortened from Puerto Vallarta, as it is referred to locally, is considered the jewel of the state of Jalisco. Many people from the city of Guadalajara, the province capital, come on weekend trips to it and during vacations such as Semana Santa and Christmas. Many affluent people from Guadalajara own houses by the beach in Vallarta. People use this place much in the way Palm Springs is used in Southern California as a local destination to get away from humdrum everyday activities. The attraction of the city is the relaxed atmosphere and beautiful landscapes made of tropical plants and sinuous rock formations.
The main town of Puerto Vallarta resides at the deepest point in Banderas Bay, a huge bay that is almost entirely enclosed by land.
To make Puerto Vallarta even more extraordinary, the Sierra Madre Mountains that run the entire length of Mexico from the north approach downtown Puerto Vallarta to form a dramatic backdrop. This is a view of Puerto Vallarta in Banderas Bay.
Once a sleepy fishing village, Puerto Vallarta is now a bustling city with over 250,000 residents.
Here are the various regions of Puerto Vallarta in a semicircle around Banderas Bay.
Puerto Vallarta is known for its quaint cobblestone streets, old-world charm, and nightlife. The walkway along the bay is lined with sculptures, many of which are said to bring good luck to those who touch them.
Puerto Vallarta's beaches, especially the unfortunately named Playa de los Muertos, are known for great swimming and other water sports. The Jungle Beach experience sets Puerto Vallarta apart from other Mexican Riviera resorts. You can take a boat trip to Ixtapa Beach across the Bay of Banderas, at the base of a jungle-covered mountain. A short hike takes you through lush tropical vegetation to a waterfall.
Here is an aerial view of the marina, cruise ship docks, and downtown Puerto Vallarta.
This is a view of Puerto Vallarta and Banderas Bay, with the Sierra Madre Mountains in the background. Ships dock right in the heart of the hotel district in Puerto Vallarta. There is ample transportation to serve passengers upon arrival and also once they are in the downtown area.
Usually, only one ship may dock per day. So if there is more than one ship in port, the second will tender from a position at anchor into the same facility. You can easily walk to the local Walmart and Sam's Club, which are located about 2 blocks from the ship.
This shows the location of the local Walmart and Sam's Club about 2 blocks from the ship.
It's a busy street, so be careful in crossing it. This is a view of downtown Puerto Vallarta from the ship.
This is a view of downtown Puerto Vallarta from the cruise ship terminal. This is another view of downtown Puerto Vallarta from the cruise ship terminal. This is a view of the Sierra Madre Mountains from the cruise ship terminal.
This is a view of the cruise ship terminal from downtown Puerto Vallarta. Passengers from another cruise line have to take tenders into the cruise ship terminal. This is an excursion boat at the cruise ship terminal. This is the cruise ship terminal at Puerto Vallarta.
Right at the port itself are some small shops. Many people enjoy going to the old section of Puerto Vallarta, some 2 to 3 miles south from the ship, about $5 in a taxi. In the old section of Puerto Vallarta there are hundreds, if not thousands, of stores, shops, boutiques and flea markets with unlimited shopping. All along the streets between the ship and the Old Town area, you will find shops selling everything imaginable of interest to tourists. In the municipal market just north of town, on Rio Culé, you can also find lots of shops.
The city fronts the Bahía de Banderas on the Pacific Ocean. Here is the downtown area around Plaza Principal, and also the Rio Culé, and the beach area of Playa de los Muertos.
This shows the location of the Plaza Principal, Cathedral of Our Lady of Guadalupe, Mazatlán, and Isla Rio Culé. This shows the location of the Plaza Principal, Mazatlán, and Isla Rio Culé in Puerto Vallarta. Puerto Vallarta is important primarily as a tourist destination.
Shipping traffic consists of cruise ships that arrive almost daily and occasional visits by U.S. Navy frigates. The Mexican Navy maintains a base at the port, as well as a naval museum and a naval hospital.
This is the Plaza Principal, the town square, in Puerto Vallarta.
Puerto Vallarta has a population of 170,000 and there are about 5 million overnight stays by tourists every year. It is also a popular spring break hotspot.
Vallarta, shortened from Puerto Vallarta as it is referred to locally, is considered the jewel of the state of Jalisco. Many people from the city of Guadalajara, the province capital, come on weekend trips to it and during vacations such as Semana Santa and Christmas. Many affluent people from Guadalajara own houses by the beach in Vallarta. Some people use this place much in the way Palm Springs is used in Southern California, as a local destination to get away from humdrum everyday activities. The attraction of the city is the relaxed atmosphere and beautiful landscapes made of tropical plants and sinuous rock formations.
Unlike Cancún, another leading Mexican tourist destination, Puerto Vallarta was a traditional village before gaining worldwide recognition as a travel destination. The village was founded on December 12, 1851, by Don Guadalupe Sanchez Torres, who named it Las Peñas de Santa María de Guadalupe, the Rocks of Saint Mary of Guadalupe. The name was eventually truncated to Puerto Las Peñas, Port Las Peñas, meaning Port of the Rocks, or Rocky Port. The original reason for the port was to enable the transshipment of silver from nearby mines. In 1918, the village was elevated to municipality status and renamed after former state governor Ignacio L. Vallarta.
In 1963, Puerto Vallarta became famous worldwide after director John Huston decided to make a movie version of Tennessee Williams's play, The Night of the Iguana in what was then a quiet fishing village. During the filming of The Night of the Iguana, the paparazzi had a field day covering Elizabeth Taylor's scandalous affair with Richard Burton, as well as the constant tension between Houston and the film's four stars. The subsequent publicity helped to attract foreign investors in the 1970s, which resulted in the massive expansion of Puerto Vallarta to its current size.
Today, there is a statue of Houston in the park on La Isla Rio Cuale in the center of the city.
This is the statue of John Huston in the park on La Isla Rio Cuale. A nearby plaque dedicated on the 25th anniversary of the film's release honors Huston's contribution to the city's fame.
This shows the location of La Isla Rio Cuale.
This again shows the location of La Isla Rio Cuale.
Puerto Vallarta's outer jungle area is also the location where the movie Predator, starring California Governor and former actor Arnold Schwarzenegger, was filmed.
This is a view of Puerto Vallarta.
This is a view of the sunset on Los Muertos Beach in Zona Romantica. Ocho Cascades is located on Paseo de los Delfines, Dolphins Way. From the end of the street there is a magnificent view of Puerto Vallarta spreading out to the north.
Adjacent to the plaza is La Parroquia de Nuestra Señora de Guadalupe, Cathedral of Our Lady of Guadalupe, one of Puerto Vallarta's most famous landmarks.
This is La Parroquia de Nuestra Señora de Guadalupe, Cathedral of Our Lady of Guadalupe. The church was completed in 1963, featuring a crown that is a replica of one worn by Empress Carlota in the 1860s.
This is La Parroquia de Nuestra Señora de Guadalupe, Cathedral of Our Lady of Guadalupe.
El Malecón.
There is a Malecón, an oceanfront walkway, that starts in the old section of Puerto Vallarta and continues for about 2 miles. The Malecón is adorned with statues and an interesting oceanscape that is well worth the time to explore.
This is a view of El Malecón.
Walking towards the Golden Zone from downtown, one comes upon rock pinnacles with stairs leading to the top. This is where you can watch local boys diving into the ocean from a good height, much as in Acapulco.
This is a view of El Malecón. The southern end of the Malecón boardwalk is anchored by the Fuente de los Delfines, Fountain of the Dolphins, sculpture, also known as the Friendship Fountain. Next to the Fuente de los Delfines is the Los Arcos, the Arches, amphitheater. Every Sunday around 7 p.m. there is a musical or theatrical performance at the amphitheater.
This is a view of Los Arcos along El Malecón. From Los Arcos, you can see across the street to the Plaza de Armas, the city's main square. The plaza contains a bandstand from which the city band performs on weekend afternoons.
El Malecón is a photographer's delight featuring some of the most recognized landmarks in Puerto Vallarta.
The collection of Colunga sculptures that line the boardwalk and the Los Arcos amphitheater's stone arches are popular places to take vacation photos.
Right across the street are many shops and restaurants with window seats to watch the sunset over Banderas Bay and take pictures of the magnificent views. The recently constructed pedestrian bridge over the Cuale River extends the Malecón to the Los Muertos beach area on the south side of Vallarta, where there are more shops, dining spots, bars and discos. This is a view of El Malecón.
The entire length of the Malecón is an outdoor sculpture gallery, with many pieces of public artwork. Heading northward along the Malecón boardwalk, there is a bronze whale sculpture.
A little farther north along the Malecon is this bronze sculpture called La Nostalgia. The sculptor Ramires Barque has the most public art on display in the city. His own love story inspiring these smooth bronze figures. After finding the woman he loved, then losing track of her for 27 years. In a twist of fate they were reunited and married. This is the spot where the lovers sat talking of their almost life together. When he proposed, he promised that if she said yes, he would create a tribute to their love for all the world to see.
There are many wrought iron and stone benches along the Malecon, ideally situated either for admiring the artwork or for people watching in the evenings. The local residents like to dress up and stroll along the boardwalk. At the northern end of the Malecon is the newest sculpture called Los Millennials, the Millenniums. Mathis Lidis's interpretation of the passage of time.
Adjacent to Los Millennials is the local fisherman's open market, where fresh fish can be bought each morning at a good price. This is a view of El Malecon, the oceanfront walkway.
This is another view of El Malecon.
This is another view of El Malecon. This is another view of El Malecon.
This is another view of El Malecon.
This is another view of El Malecon.
Here is a cobblestone side street heading inland towards the surrounding hills. Here is the view looking in the opposite direction towards the ocean. This is a view of Puerto Vallarta.
These are homes in the conscious China's neighborhood with some interesting architecture. Notice the small planter box out of which this large palm tree grows. This is the Zona Romantica district of Puerto Vallarta. Zona Romantica is on the south side of Rio Cahuale, just to the south of the downtown area.
This is a view of the Zona Romantica district.
This is another view of the Zona Romantica.
This is the Zona Romantica looking towards Playa de los Muertos.
The popular beach called Playa de los Muertos, Beach of the Dead, has a small fishing pier and several beachfront restaurants and bars.
This is a view of Playa de los Muertos. This is Playa de los Muertos.
Playa de los Muertos, O Beach of the Dead, is named after a battle fought 100 years ago.
This is the Playa de los Muertos.
This is a view of the Playa de los Muertos. This is Playa de los Muertos. The Rio Cahuale runs east-west through El Centro, the old center of town. The river flows around the narrow Isla Rio Cahuale River Island. This view from the bridge shows the south fork of the river, with the mainland on the right side and the island on the left side. This shows the location of La Isla Rio Cahuale. Halfway across the pedestrian bridge is a stairway leading down to the island. This is well worth a detour before heading farther north.
This is a sign at the entrance to Isla Rio Cahuale.
These are small shops on Isla Rio Cahuale. This is a view of Isla Rio Cahuale.
This is another view of Isla Rio Cahuale.
This is me by a banyan tree on Isla Rio Cahuale. This is another view of Isla Rio Cahuale.
Mazatlán was the site of the filming of the movie The Night of the Iguana.
This shows the location of Mazatlán on Banteras Bay. with respect to Puerto Vallarta.
This is Los Arcos on the way to Miss Maloya from Puerto Vallarta. This is a view of Miss Maloya.
This is Miss Maloya, the site of the filming of The Night of the Iguana.
This is a view of Miss Maloya. This is an autre view of Miss Maloya.
This is an iguana.
This is Puerto Vallarta at night.
Ixtapa and Zihuatanejo.
Zihuatanejo and nearby Ixtapa are on the west coast of Mexico, just to the north of Acapulco. The creation of Ixtapa in 1968. The Bank of Mexico created a special fund for the creation of new tourist destinations on the Mexican coast. The first two such destinations were Cancún, in the state of Quintana Roo, and Ixtapa, next to the town of Zihuatanejo. The development of Ixtapa was supported by a loan from the World Bank. Zihuatanejo is the fourth largest city in the Mexican state of Guerrero.
Here is the Mexican state of Guerrero. Zihuatanejo is about 145 miles, 240 kilometers, northwest of Acapulco.
The modern tourist resort of Ixtapa is about 3 miles, 5 kilometers, from Zihuatanejo.
Zihuatanejo is the principal community in the region. Zihuatanejo was largely neglected after the Spanish conquest. With its ancient roots as a matriarchal society, the original name, Mazatlán, means place governed by women. Zihuatanejo, as it's affectionately known by locals and frequent visitors, remained a sleepy fishing village until fairly recently, inhabited by a few families and visited only by intrepid fishermen who moored in its protected harbor in the evenings. The charm and beauty of Zihuatanejo were mostly undiscovered until the Mexican government decided to create a tourist paradise out of a nearby spit of land known as Ixtapa.
Ixtapa is a government-planned tourist resort that was begun in the early 1970s and constructed on what was once a coconut plantation and mangrove estuary.
Zihuatanejo has a population of 63,000, and the population of Ixtapa is only 6,500.
Cruise ships anchor in Zihuatanejo Bay and tender to a small dock. The shops of Zihuatanejo are an easy 3-minute walk. Ixtapa is approximately 3 miles away, accessible by bus, taxi or shore excursion.
No building, by city code, is allowed to top 4 stories in Zihuatanejo. In order to preserve the village look, Ixtapa, in contrast, has many high-rise hotels and trendy shops. Zihuatanejo is a city with a municipal government, whereas Ixtapa is a created resort, governed by a resort management company that oversees everything from traffic lights to law enforcement. Zihuatanejo has grown from a sleepy little fishing village into a medium-sized city but has retained its traditional Mexican culture and beauty. Proud of its heritage, Zihuatanejo is favored by those wanting a traditional Mexican environment, wonderful beaches and traditional restaurants and shopping. Zihuatanejo's flea market is located just a few blocks inland from the Tender Wharf. The closest beach to the Tender Wharf in Zihuatanejo is the Paseo del Pescador, or Fisherman's Walk along Municipal Beach. Ixtapa is the sister city of Zihuatanejo, located about 3 miles, or 5 kilometers north of Zihuatanejo, and it is about as different in every way as it can be.
Ixtapa was created by the Mexican government to lure tourists to the west coast of Mexico, much the same way as Cancún was created to create a tourist mecca in the Caribbean. Most of the employees of the many hotels that make up Ixtapa live in Zihuatanejo.
Zihuatanejo provides some fabulous hanging around spots. There's also an internet cafe and some shops.
There is no real town in Ixtapa. Just one huge hotel next to an oath for miles. Ixtapa's new convention center is located right in the center of the hotels and promises more growth for tourism to the area.
Humpback whales are visible in Zihuatanejo Bay at certain times of the year as they migrate to their breeding grounds.
At other times, green Ridley sea turtles are on the beaches as they lay their eggs in the sand.
Ixtapa is where there are most of the water sports vendors. The ubiquitous Carlos and Charlie's, Senor Frogs and the other shops and watering holes that cruisers have come to expect. Zihuatanejo, on the other hand, is home to fishermen, craftsmen, small waterfront bars and cafes, and a more relaxed atmosphere.
The El Faro Lighthouse is at the end of Las Gatas Beach, about a 15-minute walk from the Las Gatas Beach Club. The view is spectacular, and includes the small islands in front of Ixtapa and Zihuatanejo Bay.
The Museo Arqueológico de la Costa Grande is at the end of the Malecón in Zihuatanejo. This museum houses artifacts from as early as 3000 BC. Playa La Ropa is the main swimming beach of Zihuatanejo. This beach is accessible via a footpath, about half an hour's walk from Zihuatanejo, or by taxi, about 5 minutes and $3.
Playa Las Gatas is accessible by water taxi from the main dock, about $3 each way. This protected inlet is also a good snorkeling spot. The Playa El Palma is the main beach of Ixtapa. It is usually crowded with hotel guests as it runs along the strip that houses the high-rise hotels.
Acapulco. Acapulco is officially Acapulco de Juarez. Acapulco is a city and major seaport in the state of Guerrero on the Pacific coast of Mexico. 190 miles, 300 kilometers, southwest of Mexico City.
Acapulco is situated on a large semicircular bay of the same name.
Here is the Mexican state of Guerrero, which is just to the south of Mexico City.
Acapulco is a port of call for shipping and cruising lines running between Panama and San Francisco.
A natural harbor is a setting for this beautiful city on the bay. This 4-mile stretch, lined by beaches and framed by mountains, offers spectacular views. Acapulco is built on a narrow strip of low ground, scarcely half a mile wide, between the shoreline and the high mountains that encircle the bay. Acapulco has long been a popular resort for tourists taking extended holiday weekends and cruises from the U.S., the Mexican interior, and countries in South America.
Eventually, Acapulco began competing directly with East Coast Cancún as a super tourist destination in recent decades.
The two beach resorts of Acapulco and Cancún are essentially located on opposite coasts oriented due east and west from the other at essentially the same latitude.
The population of Acapulco and surroundings is 2 million.
A relatively new cruise terminal has been built in the downtown area near the Zocalo, or town square.
The Zocalo town square in Old Town Acapulco is very close to the cruise ship terminal.
This is the Old Town area of Acapulco. One of the plentiful VW bug taxis can get you into the center of town for $2. But taxi fares are not preset. So make sure you negotiate the price before you embark on your ride.
This is the cathedral on the plaza, with its Moorish style, sky blue domes.
The excellent beaches within easy walking distance of the port in both directions. Most of the action is located at Playa Condesa on the Zona Dorado Golden Zone, east of the terminal.
Boutiques, department stores, upscale chains and local craft markets line Avenida Costa Miguel Alemán, the main artery through town, known by the locals as Costura. If you are looking for the local experience, head for the Mercado Municipal, within walking distance of the cruise terminal, or Mercado de Artesanías, near Cinco de Mayo in the downtown Zocalo.
Acapulco is a party town. But the real action doesn't begin until late at night. Late-night revelers don't begin to fill the numerous flashy discos, dance clubs and bars until 11 p.m. However, the party doesn't really get started until midnight but goes until sunrise. Most of the dance clubs have a hefty cover. $10 low season 2, $30 during the high season. But the cover charge often includes your drinks. Perhaps one of the most famous tourist activities is a visit to La Quebrada, where the cliff divers perform.
The La Quebrada cliff divers perform daily at 1:30, 7:30, 8:30, 9:30 and 10:30 p.m. This is a La Quebrada cliff diver.
This is La Quebrada cliff divers.
This is a view of La Quebrada cliff divers. Built as Mexico's first resort during the 50s and early 60s, Acapulco was the playground of the rich and famous.
Pollution, over-commercialization and corruption tarnished the image of Acapulco, and its popularity declined.
In recent years, however, Acapulco has experienced a resurgence. And it is once again becoming a popular destination for those who love late-night dinners at fabulous restaurants, dancing until dawn at glitzy discos and lounging on sun-drenched beaches all day. Inhabited for thousands of years by Aztecs, Acapulco was originally the center of the fishing and trading industry. Who would have ever imagined it would become a flashy resort city that pulses with 24/7, non-stop energy? There is great natural beauty in the surroundings. The surrounding mountains had made access to the town difficult, but this was eased by the construction of a 1.25-mile, 2 kilometers, tunnel to the waterfront from the hinterland in the 1990s.
An earlier effort to admit the cooling sea breezes by cutting through the mountains, a passage called the Abra de San Nicolas, had some beneficial effect. The history of Acapulco. Acapulco has been well known as a traveler's crossroads for at least a millennium. Its name is a Nahuatl word, meaning plain of dense reeds.
After conquering the Aztecs, Hernán Cortés sent expeditions south to build ships and find a route to China. By a royal decree dated April 25, 1528, Acapulco and her land, where the ships of the south will be built, passed directly into the hands of the Spanish crown. Voyages of discovery set sail from Acapulco for Peru, the Sea of Cortez, and to Asia. None returned across the Pacific. However, until the Augustinian priest Andrés de Urdaneta discovered the northern Pacific trade winds, which propelled him and his ship, loaded with Chinese treasure, to Acapulco in 1565. This is a Spanish relief map of 1628 of Acapulco Bay. For more than 256 years, a special yearly trading ship, known to the English as the Manila Galleon, set sail from Acapulco for Manila and the Orient.
The return of the Manila Galleon started an annual merchants' fair in Acapulco where traders bargained for the galleon's cargo of silks, porcelain, ivory, and lacquerware. Acapulco yearly treasure soon attracted marauders. In 1579, Francis Drake attacked but failed to capture the galleon.
But in 1587, off Cabo San Lucas, Thomas Cavendish seized the galleon Santa Ana. The cash alone, 1.2 million gold pesos, severely depressed the London bullion market. After a Dutch fleet invaded Acapulco in 1615, the Spanish rebuilt their fort in 1617. Destroyed by an earthquake in 1776. The fort was rebuilt by 1783.
The War of Independence, 1820 to 1821, stopped the Manila Galleon forever, sending Acapulco into a century-long slumber. The Historical Museum of Acapulco is housed in the once active Fort San Diego.
Acapulco is now a port of call for shipping and cruising lines running between Panama and San Francisco. Fort San Diego is very close to the new cruise ship terminal. Acapulco suffered considerably from earthquakes in 1909, and was devastated by Hurricane Pauline in 1997.
This is the track of Hurricane Pauline.
This is Hurricane Pauline. This is Hurricane Pauline.
There are exports of hides, wood, and fruit, and the adjacent district of Tabares produces cotton, tobacco, cacao, sugarcane, Indian corn, beans, and coffee. Acapulco has had its star-spangled times, prompting none other than Frank Sinatra to give the place a mention in his all-time classic, Come Fly With Me. Modern Acapulco has a great appeal and is a featured destination for many Pacific cruise ship packages and international air carriers.
The vast majority of the tourists are Mexicans. But the balmy subtropical climate and pleasant year-round temperatures of Acapulco draw in many of the foreign nationals year-round, providing the volume to support the numerous bars and clubs dotted around the bay.
Whether seeking a break from northern climes, winters or heat, or the southern hemisphere's seasonal analogs, the proximity of Acapulco to the equator on the narrows of the North American continental isthmus gives it an economically important geographic centrality rivaled by only a few resorts in the world.
In recent years, within the young crowd, Acapulco has made up some ground on Cancún as a popular spring break destination.
This growing popularity may be because Acapulco offers a different unknown experience and a larger international student crowd than Cancún due to its prominence as an international tourist mecca, with many available international transatlantic and trans-Pacific flights.
Apart from just the beach, Acapulco's best-known island, Crucecita, is a great attraction that is typically reached by transparent bottom boats, enabling a clear view of the bottom sea. As in Cancún, water sports such as water skiing, parasailing, scuba diving, deep-sea fishing, sailing and snorkeling excursions are available in many price ranges amongst the picturesque coastal waters.
Mazatlán, Pearl of the Pacific. Mazatlán.
Mazatlán is a city in the Mexican state of Sinaloa. The surrounding municipality for which the city serves as the municipal seat is also called Mazatlán.
Here is Mazatlán in the Mexican state, or estado, of Sinaloa. Mazatlán is on the Pacific coast, just across from the southernmost tip of the Baja California peninsula. Mazatlán has a population of over 500,000. It is the second largest city in the state of Sinaloa. A car ferry connects Mazatlán to La Paz in Baja California Sur across the Gulf of California. Different from many of its neighboring Mexican Riviera resort towns, Mazatlán was a city first and it became a beach resort later. Mazatlán boasts one of the largest ports in Mexico and is home to one of the largest commercial fishing fleets in Mexico, as well as a hefty sport fishing fleet.
This seaside resort has two distinct centers, El Centro or Old Mazatlán, consisting of the downtown and harbor area with newly revitalized historical attractions,
and the tourist zone, known as Zona Dorada, or Golden Zone, which runs 7 miles along a coastal road.
These two areas are linked by Avenida del Mar, the Malecón, a 17-mile scenic beachfront avenue that curves along the waterfront.
Mazatlán is a Nahuatl word meaning place of the deer. The city was founded in the 1820s. By the mid-1800s, a large group of immigrants had arrived from Germany. These new citizens developed Mazatlán into a thriving commercial seaport, importing equipment for the nearby gold and silver mines.
The German immigrants also influenced the music banda, which is an alteration of Bavarian folk music.
Today Mazatlán is not only a booming resort town, but it is also the largest port on Mexico's Pacific coast. Surfing, sailing and scuba diving are popular activities, and the town is a haven for sports fishing enthusiasts.
Mazatlán has a 10-mile seaside promenade, and dozens of merchants sell jewelry, woven belts and trinkets along the promenade.
Mazatlán's lighthouse began to shine by mid-1879. It is the highest lighthouse in elevation in the world.
The lamp had been handcrafted in Paris, France, and it contained a big oil lamp with mirrors to enhance the light. Since the light was static, in the distance it was often mistaken as a star. By 1905 this lamp was converted to a revolving lamp.
This is a map of the area around Mazatlán.
This is a map of the area around Mazatlán.
This is a map of the area around Mazatlán.
This shows the location of the Central Market and El Faro with respect to the cruise ship dock.
Ships dock at the peninsula port on the southern edge of town along the Avenida Gabriel Leyva and Avenida Barragán. It is a 1 mile, 15 to 20 minute, walk to Old Mazatlán. But the Malecón, waterfront boulevard, makes a walk quite pleasant.
The ship docks in the commercial port area. The Golden Zone is about 4 miles away, so a cab is needed to get there. The cab fare is about $10 to either Old Mazatlán or the Golden Zone. There is a very frequent shuttle tram, about every 5 minutes, that will take you from the ship to the port terminal building.
It is free, but also mandatory to take the shuttle.
It only takes a few minutes for the shuttle to get from the ship to the port terminal building. There are shops and information available in the terminal building.
This is a view of the port of Mazatlán and the Zona Dorada in the distance.
This is the port of Mazatlán.
This may be your last chance for a Walmart before you return to the U.S., as if there aren't any back home.
This is a view of El Faro from Weathership docks.
Taxis are convenient and plentiful at the port. However, and generally for $30 to $50 pesos, or about $5 will get you anywhere about town. You might opt for one of the pulmonious, open-air taxis prevalent in Mazatlán, as an alternative to a traditional taxi.
There are over 350 of these pulmonious or open-air taxis in Mazatlán.
Rival taxis said that if you ride in one of those open-air cabs, you'll be liable to get pneumonia, or pulmonia in Spanish. The drivers of the rival open-air cabs retorted by saying, "Okay, we'll call ourselves pulmonious."
Old Mazatlán El Centro.
This seaside resort has two distinct centers, El Centro or Old Mazatlán, consisting of the downtown and harbor area with newly revitalized historical attractions, and the tourist zone, known as Zona Dorada, or Golden Zone, which runs 7 miles along a coastal road. This is a map of the central area of Mazatlán. This is a more detailed map of the central area of Mazatlán.
A principal attraction in El Centro, or Old Mazatlán, is the cathedral.
A visit to Old Town gives a taste of a real Mexican city.
This is the Cathedral of Mazatlán. Construction of the cathedral was begun in 1875, but due to lack of funds, was not completed until 24 years later.
Money to continue construction was donated by a Jewish family. And in gratitude these Stars of David we put in 28 of the windows. One for every day of the month. This is perhaps the only Roman Catholic church in the world with this. There are 2 different directions you can go to shop extensively. First, the Majo tourist shops line the streets of the Golden Zone, beginning with La Plaza, the main shopping center, housing over 120 stores.
Seashell City, yes. Just what the name implies, and the Mazatlán Arts and Crafts Center are along the Zona Dorado.
For a different shopping experience, venture to the Mercado, open market, in El Centro, Old Town, 1 block northeast of the cathedral.
It is a combination tourist t-shirt souvenir shop and grocery for locals, including rather unusual food selections. There are also a number of shops at the pier to pick up your requisite souvenirs of Mexico.
The Plaza Machado in the downtown area is perhaps the most beautiful area of Mazatlán. In the Plaza Machado there are restaurants, sidewalk cafes, and colonial buildings lining the street. At the south end of the Plaza Machado is the fully restored Angela Peralta Theater, once a famous opera house built in 1865. This architectural delight is open for tours during the day.
If you plan to enjoy the beach, there are the cliff divers on the rocky cliffs of Olas Altas, El Malecón. This seaside resort has 2 distinct centers, El Centro or Old Mazatlán, consisting of the downtown and harbor area with newly revitalized historical attractions,
and the tourist zone, known as Zona Dorada, or Golden Zone, which runs 7 miles along a coastal road. The Malecón in Mazatlán is the longest in all of Latin America.
This is one of the ocean statues along the Malecón.
Mazatlán is at the foot of the Sierra Madre Mountains, on a peninsula that extends into the Pacific Ocean, just below the Tropic of Cancer. Mazatlán is filled with scenic beauty and an enchanting atmosphere. Lined with 10 miles of golden sand beaches and speckled with blue lagoons, It is no wonder that Mazatlán is known as the Pearl of the Pacific.
This is one of the few places along the Mexican Riviera where the true flavor of the real Mexico is still alive.
These are ocean statues along the Malecón.
These are ocean statues along the Malecón.
Famous divers perform daring jumps into the Pacific from high rocks for a tip of a couple pesos. This is the Mazatlán Divers Platform.
This is the Mazatlán Divers Platform.
Zona Dorada.
The tourist zone is known as Zona Dorada, or Golden Zone. Has many modern hotels, tourist ships and beaches.
There are many nice beaches in the Zona Dorado, with Playa Sabolo and Las Gaviotas being the most popular. This is Playa Las Gaviotas.
This is Zona Dorada.
This is a view of Zona Dorada. The Mazatlán Aquarium has over 200 species of fish, and is an attraction worth visiting.
Huatulco.
Hualtulco is a relatively new tourist development in Mexico, and indeed can be called a new Acapulco.
Huatulco is located on the Pacific coast of the Mexican state of Oaxaca.
Along the beautiful coast of Oaxaca are the Bajías de Huatulco, a new resort developed with an eye toward ecological preservation.
The Bajías de Huatulco is being developed by Fauna Tour, Mexico's national trust for the promotion of tourism. Fauna Tour was established in 1974 and during its history has developed 5 of Mexico's top beach resort areas: Cancún, Ixtapa, Los Cabos, Laredo, and the bays of Huatulco. These 5 destinations offer more than 245 hotels with 36,800 rooms, and bring in over half of the foreign tourist dollars to Mexico. Although a Fauna Tour project, the Pacific coast in this southern part of Mexico is less promoted and, therefore, less well known than other beach resorts.
Huatulco's tourism industry is centered around its 9 bays.
The bays of Huatulco, Bajías de Huatulco, are actually made up of a series of 9 bays, and numerous small coves stretching along 16 miles, or 26 kilometers of jagged coastline, including 36 white sandy beaches.
The Bajías de Huatulco are at the southern tip of the southern Sierra Madre mountain range, known for its high, rugged mountains and deep, fertile valleys.
This area is surrounded by waterfalls, rivers, and mountainous landscapes. From May through December, the vegetation is a lush jungle green. Bajías de Huatulco is the largest ecological reserve designated by the Mexican government, making it a truly unique tourist destination since it combines a very modern resort infrastructure within a largely undeveloped natural area.
Because the Pacific coast of Mexico actually runs northwest, in the resort of Huatulco, the bays actually lie east to west. As you travel from east to west, you come to Caneyas Bay first. It is not yet developed, and is protected by steep cliffs. Tangolunda Bay is next and, together with Chahu and Santa Cruz Bays, represents the more developed area of Bajías de Huatulco. Tangolunda is one of the principal bays, and home to 5-star resort hotels and shopping areas. The beautiful 18-hole golf course is located there in the midst of a natural setting of lakes and sand traps. This championship-class golf course offers you both challenge and beauty, and the last hole gives you a panoramic view of Tangolunda Bay. The most centrally located bay is Bahia de Santa Cruz, which is just south of La Crucecita. It is also the center of commercial and tourist activities, with a large pier where yachts and cruise ships dock.
Santa Cruz is a small bay on which the original fishing village of Santa Cruz was located. Today, it has several free and four-star hotels, which are not built directly on the beach, but a couple of blocks away.
Upscale and Palapa-style restaurants line the beach. Santa Cruz also has several small shopping areas and a marina, where you can rent boats.
La Crucecita, along with Santa Cruz and Tangolanda, comprises the main part of the resort area of Huatulco.
Huatulco's tourism industry is centered around its 9 bays. The bays of Huatulco, Bajías de Huatulco, are actually made up of a series of 9 bays, and numerous small coves stretching along 26 kilometers of jagged coastline, including 36 white sandy beaches.
The most centrally located bay is Bahia de Santa Cruz, which is just south of La Crucecita. It is also the center of commercial and tourist activities, with a large pier where yachts and cruise ships dock.
Huatulco has a wide variety of accommodations from rooms for rent, small economy hotels, vacation condominiums, bed and breakfasts, along with several luxury resorts standing on the shores of Tangolanda Bay.
The Camino Real, Las Brisas, Gala and Barceló are examples of the most popular Lorga resorts in the area.
This is the cruise ship, Spirit of Adventure, in Bahia Santa Cruz. This is the cruise ship, Island Princess, in Bahia Santa Cruz. These are cruise ships in Bahia Santa Cruz.
This is Bahia Santa Cruz.
This is Bahia Santa Cruz.
This is Bahia Santa Cruz. This is the marina next to the ship terminal.
This is Bahia Santa Cruz.
This is Bahia Santa Cruz.
This is Bahia Santa Cruz.
For a taste of small-town Mexican life, it's about a mile over the mountain ridge from Bahia de Santa Cruz to La Crucecita.
La Crucecita is a town that was created to provide services to the development of the resort area. La Crucecita has many restaurants and shops built around a typical Mexican zocalo, a park in the center of the town. La Crucecita is the community closest to the bays and has grown along with the development of tourism in the area. This is the La Crucecita Town Center. The town church, called Parroquia de Nuestra Señora de Guadalupe, is located in front of the park in the center of town.
A 20-meter tall image of the Virgin of Guadalupe, the largest in the world, is painted in the cupola of the church. La Crucecita Textiles. This is the plaza of La Crucecita.
This is the plaza of La Crucecita. The Maya Riviera. What is the Maya Riviera? Mexico has 2 major resort areas. The Mexican Riviera on the west coast, and on the east coast on the Yucatan Peninsula is the region known as the Maya Riviera.
Here is the Yucatan Peninsula in the southern part of Mexico.
The Maya civilization.
It is in this region that the ancient Maya civilization reached its greatest heights in the years from 250 to 900 AD. A major attraction of this region is the ruins of the ancient Maya civilization.
Hui the Maya. The people who built and later abandoned these majestic pyramids scattered around Central America. Archaeologists have long known that the Maya, who flourished between about 250 and 900 AD, perfected the most complex writing system in the hemisphere, mastered mathematics and astrological calendars of astonishing accuracy, and built massive pyramids all over Central America, from Yucatan to modern Honduras.
The major Mayan cities and ceremonial centers feature a variety of pyramidal temples or palaces overlaid with limestone blocks and richly ornamented with narrative, ceremonial, and astronomical reliefs and inscriptions that have ensured the stature of Mayan art as premier among Indian cultures. Here is a pyramid in Chichen Itza. Here is another pyramid in Chichen Itza. The Yucatan Peninsula of Mexico has the estates or states of Yucatan, Campeche, and Quintana Roo. Now the Yucatan is a bustling tourist mecca with the resort areas of Cancún and the Caribbean coast of the northern Yucatan Peninsula known as the Maya Riviera. Fully 1/4 of Mexico's foreign tourist revenue is generated from this area. This area attracts over 3 million visitors each year, especially to the major resort city of Cancún. They come for the white sand beaches and the warm waters of the Caribbean coast. Since the 1970s, the tourist industry has become the mainstay of the region's economy.
This started with the development of Cancún, and later spread down the coast in the region known as the Maya Riviera. The region from Cancún to Tulum is also known as the Cancún-Tulum corridor.
Here is the Maya Riviera extending on the Caribbean coast of the Yucatan from Cancún down to the Maya ruins of Tulum. Cozumel Island derives its name from the Mayans who believe the island to be a sacred shrine. In the Maya language, Cozumel translates to Land of the Swallows, a reflection of the indigenous birds that grace the landscape.
Spanish explorer Juan de Grijalva made a peaceful stop on the island in 1518. The visit was followed a year later by the infamous Hernán Cortés, who destroyed many of the Mayan temples. By the time Cortés left Cozumel, the ancient civilization was in ruins.
Cozumel Island is 12 miles from the beach city of Playa del Carmen. It is a 45-minute ferry ride, costing about $7 to go from Playa del Carmen to Cozumel.
This is the shoreline along San Miguel.
A 16th-century Spanish historian described the Caribbean coast of the Yucatan and its horizon of Maya pyramid-shaped temples as a very towered land. In modern times, the Maya temples have been eclipsed in height and profusion by the many hotels of Cancún.
Recommended videos: Mexican Riviera, Part 2.
Recommended video: Top 10 Best Things to Do in Puerto Vallarta, Mexico. Travel Tips Guide, 10 minutes, 35 seconds.
Recommended video: Puerto Vallarta City Guide, Lonely Planet Travel Videos. 3 minutes, 18 seconds.
Recommended video: Ixtapa and Zihuatanejo, 2 Mexican beach paradises, 4 minutes, 52 seconds.
Recommended video: 10 Best Tourist Attractions in Acapulco. 2 minutes, 36 seconds.
Recommended video: Acapulco 2020, the paradise in the Pacific Ocean. 4 minutes, 8 seconds.
Recommended video: Top 10 Things to Do in Mazatlán. 4 minutes, 20 seconds.
Recommended video: Mazatlán, Top 5 Reasons to Visit Mazatlán, Mexico. 2 minutes, 42 seconds.
Recommended video: Mazatlán, Top 10 Tips to Experience Mazatlán, Mexico. 2 minutes, 47 seconds.
Recommended video, highlights of Huatulco, Mexico. 2 minutes. 29 seconds.
Recommended video, La Crucecita Huatulco, Oaxaca, Mexico. 3 minutes. 41 seconds. Mexican Riviera, Table of Contents. Part 2, Puerto Vallarta. Ixtapa and Zihuatanejo. Acapulco. Mazatlán. And Hualtulco.
Thanks for watching. Please watch some more of my great videos.